splitting up Kane and
Yeah.
Panarin. Let them find themselves. And I think Kane, he's still got to be nervous. The pressure of being traded at that time of the season, uncomfortable. Believe it or not, as much success as he's had, Kaner,
Yep.
he's still, I texted him, he's still a little lost. So look
Interesting.
for him to get more and more comfortable. And I think, like I said, these guys, they'll get healthier. Lindgren's going to come back hopefully at some point.
Yep.
And they'll get back on stride.
There's definitely a lot of little nuances that, you know, where you sit, who you're eating with, where you're going,
Yeah.
what the timing is when you join a new team this late in the season. You have to go through all that again. It's sort of like being new to a team again, which he is. And so I think once they figure that out off the ice, the on-ice confidence is going to come through.
Well, really,
That's what I need. I need a microphone arm or a holder thing. Or I need one of those fancy microphones that Bob Barkley used on The Price is Right. What's up, everybody? This is
Excuse me, Bob Barkley?
Yeah, Bob Barker.
Bob Barker. God, I mixed Charles Barkley and Bob Barker.
Two fundamentally different people.
Oh, I do have
though.
to say, I just ate Charles. I haven't eaten anything all day, so my brain is getting the nutrients, and so it's not fully up there.
You got them confused from two movies in the mid '90s that are near perfect for sports. This is a sports show, everybody. One was Happy Gilmore, where the price is wrong, bitch, and then the other one was Space Jam. So I get it. Come on, Jam. Oh, come on and slam and welcome to the Jam. I understand.
I have not seen the sequel, so
You don't have to see the sequel.
Yeah.
What do we want to do to have it be a WB love product that doesn't even have the good stuff?
that's that's true. It was basically that. It was all about cyberspace instead of actual space because they couldn't come up with actual good narratives to tie it to the first movie. So there you go.
I think surprisingly, with all the CGI they had in that movie, they didn't CGI LeBron's hairline. Ooh, I'm sorry, I had to do it. I am one of the few people in this chat and probably in the internet that doesn't attack LeBron. But listen, my
he got hair plugs. He's gotten hair plugs lately. He's gotten hair plugs.
Guy's attractive, even if he had like as long as he doesn't have the horseshoe.
Yeah,
which is the scariest way to go bald. That's what I fear.
But our love KD, he's gone with that look, and you know
KD's kind of patchy.
Yeah, but he's gone with that look because he doesn't give a shit, which is also a nice, admirable quality. So, okay, yeah. So it's Sports Gives number 164, everybody, and guess what, guys? We're sponsored once again by Factor 75. You know, you click on our link, you go, you get some food delivered straight to your doorstep, nice, convenient, right, for the gamer in you, for the sports fan in you, for the tired human being that's leaving work and just don't have time to go to the supermarket. But guess what? There's something waiting for you right at your doorstep. It's from Factor 75, same people that do HelloFresh. It's all the ingredients right there. All the instructions, right? Nice servings and portions. You just follow the instructions, and boom, you got yourself a nice, nutritious meal. And y'all, just type in our code. It's up on the screen, or head on over to the link, 50% off, and then have yourself some good food. All right. So I think that was 2 minutes, right? Oh boy. So Andrew, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you.
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
I just ate, but I've eaten a lot of it.
That sounds like the worst thing ever. I don't want to tell you how I really feel. Don't ask me.
I just feel like
I've been looking at new selections.
I was at work, and I just feel like I may have to start working way past what I have to because I need to get some stuff done. But anyways, that's another thing. But regardless, the game is going to go down for next couple weeks. But I just ate. I ate arepas because I'm Venezuelan, guys. If you guys don't know, I am Venezuelan. That's the only thing that I've ever been.
How about you're Puerto Rican?
Dominican. I've been jumping bandwagons like Andrew in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, anybody who's just listening in for the first time, if you didn't listen to the first 163, not only is that a hot button issue for Andrew, it's usually me who makes that, not Francisco. So Francisco finally picked a side now.
Well, hey, look, I've accepted the 2017 national championship as legit. So, but
yeah, that's fine.
So there you go. But besides, all those UCF people are starting to take over the sports media. So they're going to be our overlords at some point. It seems like everybody's on TV. Degrees. Our boy Jeremy, so I'm always surprised. Andrew, I got to thank you for getting him on the show, because we're going to look back at this like 10 years later when Jeremy's like on ESPN hologram or whatever, and hosting First Take with the Stephen A. Smith's hologram, and be like, that guy was on our show, Because that man is going places, man. He's on the Heat broadcast now.
Butler. That's all you need to know.
He's over there interviewing my husband. Like, that's great. My husbando. So gosh, it's 164. I gotta figure. Okay, well, sports is happening. The World Baseball Classic is happening. It's like the only sports thing I've actually paid attention to lately.
You watched the Heat game.
I did watch a Heat game. I watched the end of the game against the Jazz last night. It was actually close. It came down to the wire. So
I was a little scared on that. So
yeah, but the Magic had the ball for the final possession, and then final-ish possession, and they couldn't convert. The Heat could, got fouled. Boom, got their nice little 4-point lead, and boom, it was over. So that was good. They interviewed Kevin Love after the game, and so I actually watched an NBA game finally for this year. So I'm finally getting back. I'm gonna get back into the groove of that. I've been kind of trying to get while I'm gaming, have my secondary laptop on the side with a game of some sort. So I put on the Heat game because there was no World Baseball Classic game that I was interested in or playing at that point. So I watched that. But I've been watching a ton of WBC games. So sheesh, I even watched the ones that were in Taiwan and Japan, like late at night, because I'm up anyways. And I mean, some of the games have been pretty good. I mean, the most hype was we're in this, so let's talk about this. World Baseball Classic, it started. It's happening here in Miami, so not too far from me. Okay, what were the allegiances, guys? Andrew, Andrew, your allegiances for the WBC.
It's all Israel, man. He doesn't even.
Israel, and of course you can't forget United States.
That's a second.
Bro, that's a lie, because I don't think anywhere in the chat we were talking about the U.S. support. We were crapping on it, weren't we?
Well, I've been flip flopping depending on scores, but yeah, because Andrew did ask me what my citizenships are. I guess I have tri-citizenship, but 2 of them are iffy now. So if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, it's not that you have been outcasted; you're just not allowed back. It's basically, it's basically law students trying to get into Scarlett's in Miami. We know what you were doing at 4 a.m. in the bathroom. Sorry, you're kicked out. Wasn't me. Thankfully, I don't go to strip clubs. Don't see the point of them.
No. All right. But yeah.
So, but I mean, Israel, because I'm Jewish, of course, as everyone should know by this point. But again, I am an American. I was born in the United States. I am an American citizen. I'm not an Israeli citizen. I can be at any point if I go there. But as of right now, I just have the one citizenship in the United States.
Wait,
so
you just have to go? You just have to land there and they just give it to you?
It's got that birthright, baby.
Yeah, it's called Aliyah.
Nice.
Or law of return.
Have you?
It's basically.
Go ahead, keep going.
If you go to Israel and you're Jewish, let me make that note. If you're Jewish, you can prove it, and you just go to Israel. Ta-da!
Have you ever thought about doing it? Just like I'm just gonna pop in there real quick. Okay.
I mean, I've considered doing birthright a few times, which I'm not sure if you guys know that, but it's a program for basically kids in college through.
Right, it's like a big trip.
It's an organized trip to go through Israel for like a week or two.
I know. What was it? That guy from the H3 podcast, whatever, Ethan, whatever his name is. He met his wife through that. through that trip. So that's
Right.
that's the only reason I know of said trip.
But so yeah, that's birthright, and a lot of kids make Aliyah through there. But yeah, I have yet to go to Israel.
Okay.
That is definitely on my bucket list at some point. Even if I wasn't Jewish, I still probably would want to go anyway, just because of how historic it is.
Mm.
I mean, it is the birthplace of three major religions, and has thousands of years of history.
Mm.
I mean, the history buff in me loves that, so I would probably have ended up going anyway. But
I feel like you have like
let's see.
I feel like if you had a third team, I think I know what it would be now, given that you found out some things today. I think it'd be the Dominicans.
Yeah.
But I feel like
So
you need to do your own version of Aliyah by having some Dominican meal, and that'll make you a Dominican citizen.
I have so much to say on this portion. It's one of those things where I'm like, do I do this? It's not smart, but I have comments.
Oh no.
So, I mean,
You can't just suggest a man to bandwagon a country, Francisco. Damn it, we're trying to break that habit.
Oh.
Let me say this. I have before I used to be neutral to the Dominican Republic, but now there is some affinity for the country. I still wouldn't root for them over the United States or Israel. I hope they have the crap beat out of them tonight. Not that it'll happen, but I'm no longer Switzerland to the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
This is fantastic. Please tell me more.
Okay.
What more? There's nothing else to say. They're honest to God isn't.
An appreciation for what they did.
What they did for my. I appreciated what they're not my ancestors technically, but I appreciated in a way they are my ancestors. They're certainly my very extended family. I appreciated what the Dominican did when literally no other country would let them in.
So, yeah, and WBC happened. My allegiances, okay. So, I have 3 citizenships, I guess, but primarily the U.S. The Venezuelans, sure, it'd be nice to see them win because they kind of been the butt of the teams that should be good, but they're not. For the last few tournaments, or since this tournament began, because they haven't really gotten out of the second round, I think, and so this year they're actually, it's not they haven't taken seriously, but they are really serious this year to try and win the damn thing, despite all the shit that's going on in the actual country. The players, for the most part, as far as I know, are kind of separated from that, so they're that's fine. I'd be cool with it if they won. I've been eating arepas in celebration, sure. Actually, I'll probably be doing that anyways. And then the third team was Nicaragua, but for certain reasons, I don't fuck with like half the team because of certain that team is not based on talent; it's based on political favors and stuff like that. The only guys that are actually there for talent are the guys that are actually in minor leagues, and one of the guys that did pop up and was there was like a 20-year-old kid who got signed by the Tigers because of his performance in the tournament. Recently, so
this dude, I think his name is Duque.
Yeah,
not to be confused with El Duque.
Probably named after him, most likely.
That wouldn't surprise me because he's 20s. That would mean 2002. That's kind of toward the tail end of Hernandez's career, right?
Yeah, or his reign of actually being good on the Yankees. Before he was casted out.
But, certainly still in the mindset of people, especially, who knows, maybe they're Yankees fans.
But, it was nice seeing the Nicaraguans. Like, the people showed up. Like, our people showed up. And even though we were going to
There
get
were more
smoked.
Nicaraguans and Israelis at the game, I think.
We were going to get smoked by the Dominican, Puerto Rico, Minnesota. Like that was not out of the question. I thought maybe we could hang with the Jews, but apparently we couldn't. But I still say that we had the dumbest team in the tournament, and for aforementioned reasons. Also, once again, team is not entirely based on talent, and they made some dumb. They made at least one crucially super dumb mistake in each of the games that they played. Well, I didn't really watch the one for today because I was working during it, and Venezuela won anyways. But regardless, the team, they lost all 4 games, and they only scored 4 runs in the 4 games, and they were by far the worst team in the tournament because even the Chinese, who also lost all 4 games, could muster up 10 runs. So they'll be back to qualifiers the next time this goes around, and then Venezuela. But that's it. That's it for me. And then you got Charles here, who I feel like he's. I don't even know if he's cheering for Colombia.
So 2 things. One, I wanted Andrew to go on more about his love for the Dominican Republic, not for the political safe harbor essentially that they did for Jewish people, but because this was going to bring back Andres Sagona. I was literally waiting. And that's why I'm like, all right, I was looking up Dominican food. I was looking up Dominican musicians.
I set that list.
Yeah. And I'm like, I was ready for it. And then now we ruined it. And I just want to talk about missed opportunities. I don't care about this thing. I don't care about the WBC.
Well, I don't know what
Andrew's
you
going to be
guys
dancing
want.
bachata.
Yeah, the bachata.
I don't know what you guys want from me. Do you want me to be a bandwagoner or not?
No, we want you to be Dominican.
We were going to go all in on a character that we have. People just don't understand.
We want you
to
become the persona.
Group chats. If we could release the group chats sometimes.
We want you to embrace Andres Sagona.
Yeah, like the idea.
Like this is the year of Andres. El año de Andres.
Like part of our stuff is just the group chat's an amazing thing sometimes because there's what we say about Andrew, there's my own stupidity, and then there's Francisco who would just like bombard us with his nonsense, and it's a good collective feeling.
Highlights.
But yes, Splatoon highlights. And then Andres was this character that we had created in the off season about Andrew getting a little bit of the Spaniard in him for all these things. We talked about food.
It was towards it was last year, and it was before we knew you were gonna move out to. Well, we thought you were gonna move to Seattle, but you moved to Orlando. But
and then he went to.
Like you were making the push because like we had that chimichanga, like it was happening.
It was gonna be swell.
Your skin tone was changing colors.
Yeah, but Andrew being Andrew thinks it's a bandwagoning thing where I was going back to a character thing in old Andres. So I'll leave that to bed. The other thing is Andres Sagona. I don't care about the WBC. I treat the WBC the same way of how I treat the Olympics. What are we here? What's going to happen? Are we going to have like world domination because somebody wins it? No. Like back in if we're saying, hey, we're going to feed the villages of these impoverished states, fantastic. Let's talk about, but we're not doing that. Okay. Really what we're doing is we're just being like, oh, hey, remember how they say baseball is a white person sport? No, we have all these collective people, and that's the putting the eyes on a lot of people coming into it, much to Manfred, who says differently, because didn't they put a ban on the international pool? I think that's what some of the owners were trying to do, and there I am saying there's collectively a whole lot more people out there that can play ball, buddy.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched it. I watched some.
How many Yankees guys are even on? Like I don't know. Judge ain't there, right? He ain't on the U.S.
And that's the thing too. But like for the U.S. players, if you're in support of Team USA, you're gonna get a few guys there, but they're not anybody.
None of the top pitchers are there.
Venezuela has Gleyber, so I'm just like,
Venezuela sent all the good guys.
They're like
the good guys on the Dominican.
I'm like they want it, let's go from there. So because it really does feel like it's a U.S. Dominican, Israel, and Venezuelan kind of game to come into it. With Colombia, I'm just finding out like Colombian MLB players. I'm like, oh, mi gente. Mm-hmm. But to me, all these things are always silly. It's always going to be silly. It's almost the same way of how I feel about FIBA, but actually I think there's better players in the international basketball component of things than I do when it comes to, Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
I know it's gotten better. That's for sure.
yeah. Well, the thing is, basketball really is legitimate global sport. So let me rephrase this
Yeah.
because maybe
It's
go
like
from there.
like second
Ba-
compared to like soccer, right?
Basketball,
It'd probably be number
yeah.
two.
Compared to soccer, yeah.
Team
Listen,
sport, yeah.
we don't even follow soccer up in here, but I will tell you that the international pool and variety, it's the variety. What do you
It'd be
think the
soccer,
league does?
basketball,
And
heck, even hockey would be third before baseball, I think.
yeah, and then the Heat took Jovic, not Jokic,
Yeah.
Jovic, and these guys are
He's
coming
out
out
of Sioux
17,
Falls.
18 with so many years of experience in the pros. I think they have more fundamentally ready players, and is that not what we want? Because do you guys remember who won the last World Baseball Classic? Not counting Andrew because he's got to be the Hermione of the group.
I do.
Or who was it?
The U.S. Yeah,
Oh,
that was a big thing. You know, they were
What
like
was that?
they cared. That was 2017. It was.
What have you done for me lately? Which will lead to a different argument. But I have like no
The
investment
pandemic
into it.
happened.
And the pandemic happened. But the idea for me, it doesn't have much of an investment. You know, you're not getting the full squad of rosters coming into it. What I would like, you know, it kind of feels like the Chappelle Show racial draft. Put in a pool of everybody, and I want to see which each qualifying nation would pick. It would be fantastic. Let me have that. But what is the real, like, Grant? Is it because we want to talk about because this is the dead season of sports for nobody who doesn't like basketball or hockey? Because that's what it feels like for me, and to get you hyped up for spring training. But I don't care. Like, to summarize my very long tangent about why the WBC and the Olympics are irrelevant to me and useless. Sure, go Colombia. I don't care. I don't really. I don't remember the exact argument I put in the group chat about the U.S. in the WBC, but whatever I said in there, keep to it, catch to it. Oh, it's because we were gonna have the 1990 fanny pack people, right? Was that it? Like they were gonna have the blue jeans, the shirt tucks in with the Bush beers, talking about, you know, that we beat everybody in the World Baseball Classic. Was that it? Maybe. Good times. We should release the chats for people.
Oh boy. So anyways, so the tournament's happening. Still, Venezuela's undefeated. Japan's undefeated. I think those are the only two undefeated teams throughout the tournament so far. And then some games happened today. I think Colombia lost to Canada today, like 5-0.
Ooh, what, we lost to Canadians?
Yeah.
That's why I can't support it. Whatever nationality I feel, you know, feel connected with.
And you lost to the Brits.
That's true. Yeah, that's also
There's like
true.
Panama Canal. Yeah, I don't care about that. I'm not like I'm
that was the U.S. stuff about the Panama Canal.
My father's from Colombia. My mother's from Argentina. I was born in Jackson Heights, Queens. You know, I'm like, Some people trying real too hard sometimes. Like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, dude, what? Like, you know, you've been in the U.S. for like 5 generations. At least Francisco and I have touch points, like legitimate touch points, in comparison to some people I've read and heard. I'm like, yeah, okay. But be what you want to be. That's fine.
All right, but yeah, it's fun. You know, it's been a fun tournament. The stuff here in Miami, sheesh, man. I told you, I put it in the chat, man. This is the one good thing Jeter did, was bring this tournament all the rounds here in Miami. That's the one good accomplishment that he did here. The only good thing that happened, because all his fucking draft picks have flopped at this point. So it's fine. You know, we're good. The Marlins have probably made more money and had more people at the games this month, this past like 3 days than they'll get for the rest of April.
Yeah, I mean,
so that'll be fun. But man, it just gets me thinking how the Marlins can just get good. I'm not saying it's going to be 35.
That ain't happening this season. I saw that payroll.
Well, the payroll and the NL East. So
does Kim just hate you guys? Like, I feel like the last 2 seasons
she's been picking up like project players and guys that I don't know, like guys with like
legitimately been Philadelphia 76ering it in baseball.
I don't know, because we have we just traded for the AL batting champion and stuff like that. We got players, but the team that they're assembling is not flashy at all offensively. And as far as like the big, the big old, the big dongs and that type of thing, like the Phillies do, because you can't in Miami. The freaking Lone Depot Park is just massive. It's a massive ballpark. They try to shrink it, whatever. They shrunk it as much as they could. They need guys that can like put the ball in play, line drives. Just you literally have to do some old school style baseball in order for this team to win with that pitching. So that's really the only thing that they can do that can probably set themselves apart from anybody else in the NL at this point. But everybody's projecting like 77 wins. That's fine. That's probably it's an improvement, really. They haven't really been that good the last few seasons since the pandemic anyway, so that's fine. I'm not expecting much. If they get like 80 wins, that's a pleasant surprise to me, honestly, and that's still a losing record. But anyways, that's the World Baseball Classic. Spring training's happening, and I don't know anything about that. And then there's I've been keeping track of the Panthers lately because they are in a wild card hunt for the final spot, but haven't really paying much else attention to hockey lately because I've just been enthralled with WEC. It's been fun for me. It's like the last fun sports thing I've seen since like the Super Bowl.
Well, I think that's a good thing because you're actually finding your passion into the sports, because there's always that concern of how long is too long to be a sports-only podcast show. Francisco was feeling very out of it.
Yeah, that's true. No, it lit up a spark in me for sure to actually be like, hey, I guess we can use this sports show to talk about sports. But this sports show ain't just about sports, guys. Sometimes we just talk about shit that we like, because that's kind of it's been an evolved sense. And you know what's one good thing that we do like is Factor 75. You know, guys, it's food. We like food. We talk about food on this show all the time. Right? This is some healthy stuff too, not stuff that his doctor's been telling him not to do. No, this is stuff
I had a salad.
And you can get salads from Factor 75. You just use our code. It's up there on the screen. Get 50% off your first order, your first box. They got different plans. You can get like 6 meals a week if you want to. You can get more than that if you need to. Right, you nice serving sizes. You can get it for more than one person if you got yourself someone that you live with and stuff like that. Heck, share it with your dog if you feel like it too. Because hey, man, I like to feed my dog a little stuff that I'm eating too. So it's healthy. It's good. They got all kinds of different things too. You want to do just keto? You want paleo? They got that stuff too. So just go click on that. You could use the promo code if you want to as well. And cool beans, right? That's 2. All right, so we got to do this 6 times. Anyways, so the show is not just about that. It's about stuff that we like. It's about me and Charles trying to get Andrew to play more than Splatoon 3 at this point, and we're proud of him for playing Splatoon 3. And I think he's playing GoldenEye now. We actually talked about it a little bit, so that's cool. But this show is also about pettiness. I mean, we had the entire NFL 2022 season was all about hopping aboard the petty train.
Dude, this off season's already petty because I have to wait. You want to know why? Can
the Titans are already ruining your
can I interject a let into the petty?
Yeah,
because I think this is the perfect highlight.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, some way, one person and one team has wanted to keep all eyes on them, like they're Tupac, in order to make him sweat out and have a list of demands, allegedly, and have their appearance come on to be relevant of a decision, allegedly. Now I understand why Francisco had lost his will, lost that love and feeling, as the Isley brothers said, regarding sports, when the only thing you had, God bless the WBC, God bless the World Baseball Classic. Because if that was not in existence, Francisco would have to force feed all of you people who don't want to eat Factor 75 food stuff about free agency and Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, and they're going to do or die kind of thing. That's what creates the petty. Go ahead, Francisco. God bless WBC.
I mean, do we want to talk about that or nah? Nah. Well, we're going to wait for shit to go down.
That's going to lead. He might be an annoyance, so, leading into the petty, so we can hold that off in a little bit because no trade has happened. So what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll wait for it to go down. He's going to be a Pat McAfee show, I think, tomorrow. That's already been
it's gonna be pipping up. He's basically doing his South Beach stint that LeBron did, but for whatever reason, he's not gonna be criticized as badly. Yeah. Understand the polarity, sports kids. Just saying. But I will defend him on one right. You have every right to determine whether or not you want to go play for the Jets, which is all just fluff and buff, man. Like, listen, that team wants to tell you they're as good as they think they are, but they're not as good. So, Aaron, hear me out. Follow us on Twitter, Charles the True, FJOJR. Dan Frijoles, Sports Goofs. Don't go to the Woody Johnson one. I'm just telling you. Retire or save the Packers. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mike White's with the Dolphins now, so.
I will say this, though.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. When Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, just know that the following things are going to happen. One, he is going to eventually end up in Minnesota. And two, in about 10 years or so, we're going to find out he was siphoning off TA&F funds to build a volleyball court for his daughter at the University of California.
Yeah.
Market.
UC Berkeley, right? Is that
right? I'm not even that petty to say he would go the Brett Favre route. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably, like, aside from being a little crazy with immunizations, I don't think he would try to...
A little crazy.
I mean, listen, who's more crazy, though? Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers? Like, right now, before we go into the petty, let's settle this debate. Let's do this. A man who had to have Brad Childress, of all people, try to hype... Brad Childress looked like the boss that fired Mr. Incredible from a Pixar movie. Try to convince him that coming back to Minnesota for one more time after getting his chest caved in was worth it, and then defrauded the entire state of Missouri, which is already a notoriously poor Mississippi thing. I'm sorry, man. They're all poor. Poor state that is Mississippi. I don't listen. I know he's dead, but I'm gonna say now I don't revere Brett Favre the way John Madden did. So where he lived and where he defrauded is in between to me. But Mississippi and defrauded them and just basically took all that money to put into other things. Or is it that, like, Aaron Rodgers with his crazy immunizations because he didn't want to look like the bad guy, and then really, like, the biggest sin aside from that has been just being overrated in Charles's eyes. It's a tough call. And also, Brett Favre did try to, how do I want to say this delicately and professionally and try to go lawyer? He was basically sending dick pics to somebody that didn't want them at the New York Jets.
Yeah, people.
So if Aaron does that, then you were definitely on the right train of things, understandably so. But if I had a view for crazy immunization guy, and I don't think, does anybody ever look at Aaron Rodgers as the proverbial role model, the way that people looked at Favre or even have a look at Manning Brady? I don't think that was ever there, right? To me, at least. He's wacky, but when you have politicians who were
State Farm
probably
commercials, I don't know. It was just
when you have politicians who were trying to say that they're immunized and all they did was put preparation H pills up their bum, he might not be far from the norm.
Yeah.
Versus Brett Favre, who, aside from selling copper sleeves that probably don't have a lick of copper in them, and they're just regular plastic wraps, defrauding the state of Mississippi. And the poor people who need those things there. I don't know. He has to really follow that resume. But like everything else, he has to follow the hyper Brett Favre. Okay. Ran over. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's March. So that also means March Madness. So the tournament bracket's out. I have one dog in this tournament, and it's FAU of all teams. And Charles does too, basically. And then, of course, the Canes are in there too.
Gonna get slaughtered.
So that there you go. And then, I don't know, UCF didn't make it, I'm going to assume. And FSU didn't make it either,
No.
Right? I don't think FSU made it either.
No, FSU was like 3 and something.
Yeah, they were awful this year. So there you go. But it also, the World Baseball Classic is happening, and we got tournaments going on, sports tournaments. And if this shows... we've had different things, like we've had the handsomest coaches across the leagues. We did that theme for a year. There was something I wanted to do as well with regards to that, but I don't think it's the time right now. Don't think it's the time. But the time is March Madness, and I feel like we could do something. And last year was all about the petty train in the NFL. And Charles, I forgot what you were mentioning in the group chat with something about being petty. But
World Petty Classic, I think is what I created.
Yes, this is the World Petty Classic. All right, where we'll each pick a thing that we are petty about and see what's the most petty thing that that we're against or something like that. And I guess it'll just be more like debates than anything else to try and win everything, to see what's like the most annoying thing, most like a justified thing that we were petty about. I guess that would be what I mean. Is that the structure that we want to go with? What's the most justified thing that we should be petty about?
Is that similar to the annoyance thing that Andrew was propositioning, or is that something completely different?
I mean, I think
because it was not clear. All I saw was Andrew doing big rant, and I just kind of like ignored because I knew he was going to explain it better on the show to me. But Andrew, is that what you were saying? Is that you want to do a bracket of annoyance or the bracket of the petty?
Well, you were the one that came up with the idea initially, so I'll defer to you.
Dude, well, I just say things sometimes. I think the World Petty Classic was just let us put in our best kind of petty, essentially.
Okay.
And we just kind of bat it up. The annoyance bracket, I thought it was going to be let's make a bracket of things that annoy us. So what I would suggest is this. World Baseball Classic, let's do World Petty Classic, and then next show, because that's when March Madness is really going to be in effect, that's when we do the annoyance bracket. Is that fair to say?
Okay. I like it.
Okay. Man, but do we have to come everything on the spot? Because, man, I thought we were going to do this over, across, 2 shows at least,
Oh, I mean, we can.
Because
I have not been following the WBC. I don't know how many series. I know what we're getting out of March Madness.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you defer how you want to start.
All right, let's do the first pool today, right? It's not going to be that long, anyways. First pool today, in 4 shows we can get this done, right? And then we can go on to something else that we can right? And then we'll because it's still a bracketed thing. I don't want this to take. We're not gonna have 64 things that
we're gonna call it pools though for petty pools.
Yeah, the petty pool is fine. So what's in your first petty pool that you want to do today? Then we can think of a different pool tomorrow, and then that pool will face off against whatever, and then we'll go from there. So what is it that's been and it can be spontaneous too. It could be man, it's something that you weren't petty about this week, and then something happened over the week, and you're just man, this fucking thing, So that's what I would say, because I already got mine. I know what mine is. I know what the first thing I'm gonna shoot across the bow right now.
I actually feel like I have a lawyer thing with it too. That's all right. If it's all bets off, we can talk about the profession.
Anything. It's anything that you're thinking about. So, I guess I'll shoot my first thing.
Yeah, you should go first.
All right. So, fucking Ronald Acuna Jr. Fuck that man. I fucking hate that guy.
Is your pettiness Ronald Acuna, or your pettiness is the hatred of Ronald Acuna?
No, it's him, the human being, the person, everything that he is everything that I hate, and petty about, and fucking Braves fans he is. You're gonna look back at every Braves fan you guys already regret losing Freddie Freeman, because Freddie's the one you should have kept. Freddie's the one you should have kept. He wanted to stay, he didn't stay, and you're stuck with Ronald Acuna Jr., who's gonna burn you. By the end of this, he's gonna leave Atlanta on bad terms. I can feel it. I can see it. It's gonna happen. He already pissed off the Venezuelan national team, cause over the off season, he was in the Venezuelan Winter League over there playing there. He pissed off a bunch of Venezuelans because he was "Oh, I'm not gonna play for the Venezuelan team on the WBC." And then he went over there to play. People were pissed off at him for that. Every time he came up, people were booing him, even when he was doing good. Even people that were he was playing for that same team, those fans were booing him because he wasn't going to play for the Venezuelan national team. His family started getting into fights in the stands with those people, and then he was "I'm not playing for the Venezuelan Winter League for the rest of my life." Okay. And he was "No, I'm not going to play for the WBC team because the Braves don't want me to go." And then Miguel Cabrera's "Well, I'm the captain of the team, and Major League Baseball said they can't really stop us from going because it's a Major League Baseball initiative. It's their tournament. So it wasn't that. So that was obviously a lie. So finally he was compelled to play. He's in this tournament. And first game, and I'm telling you, it's 2021, he got his ring. He didn't get his ring. He didn't do shit. He was injured. He was injured for 2/3 of that season, didn't play in the playoffs. All of that was Freddie Freeman and Max Fried leading the team to victory, and the Houston Astros choking. That was it. That is why the Braves won the World Series. It wasn't Ronald Acuna. He was lifting the team. The Braves were not good while Acuna Jr. was playing. The Braves got good once he was out. He didn't do shit. And then 2022 playoffs, he didn't do anything. The Braves, defending champions, won the NL East, didn't do anything in the playoffs when it actually mattered, when things happened. Over the offseason, Alex Gonzalez, former Marlins player, right? Of course, I'm biased on that side. Of course I am. This is the Petty, World Petty Classic. I could be biased as much as I want. Alex Gonzalez like, hey, man, you didn't play, whatever. And then the guy trashes Alex Gonzalez's career, even though it was a 16-year MLB career. And I post something, because I'm in this fucking thing now. I post something about Alex Gonzalez actually doing shit in the World Series, because he did it. He beat the Yankees in Game 4 with a game-winning walk-off. And Acuna was like, oh, he hasn't done anything in baseball. And I posted that after that as a response, without even mentioning Acuna's name, and everybody knew what the fuck I meant, because every single Venezuelan came in to absolutely dump trash on the man, and it was beautiful. I learned new words because I've been improving my Spanish tenfold. But man, there were some new words I had to look up on Google, and there's things I probably shouldn't repeat on air because they were really bad. It was fun. Some new curse words, that's for sure. That was fun. And so WPC happens. This man's playing the Dominican Republic. This was the game, the matchup everybody wanted to see, because Venezuela finally sending all their good guys. Dominican Republic, they got all their good guys. Everybody's there. Nobody's missing unless they were injured. And this man goes 0 in the first game completely, absolutely doesn't do shit. Everybody else is doing the Venezuelans beat the Dominican Republic, but it wasn't because of him. He didn't do shit. And then the second game, he got a hit in garbage time. Against Puerto Rico. So it was just one thing. That was the one thing that he did. And then that Nicaragua. I don't even know what happened today, honestly, right? He has not. And Braves fans, when they posted a picture of him doing something in 2018 playoffs when they lost to the St. Louis Cardinals. He did one thing before it actually really did matter, when people actually expected something of the Braves. No, since then, what happened? Nothing since. Yep. So, yeah, he's already pissed people off. He's pissed off people, his own damn country. He's pissed people off. What's he gonna do when the Braves are like, okay, they're kind of teetering. He wants more money, this type of thing. He's gonna leave on bad terms. Watch, it's gonna happen. I can't wait. The Braves are signed to a long-term. It's gonna be bad. And I'm waiting for it. Freddie's the one you should have kept. You guys made the mistake. Whatever, it was the agent, it was the GM for the Braves, whatever. That's gonna come back to haunt them tenfold. That's for sure. That's my petty. That's my thing for Pool A, or whatever you want to call this. And I was so happy when he got injured at Lone View Park that very same season. Oh, I came when that happened. I was there. I was at the game. I saw it happen. I'm like, oh, everything, my dreams have come true. So there you go. The one fucking player that I openly would be glad to see him have a career-ending injury. There we go. I haven't hated a player like this in any sport whatsoever. Not a single one. Not even Tony D'Angelo. There you go. Woo.
I feel like we have to go for Andrew, because he's not going to match that kind of hatred that you have. So that's a good thing.
I'd like you to go next, if that's okay. I'm still trying to formulate.
All right. Well, so I'm going to say this now. Knowing us, we're going to forget the pools. So it's just going to be like the complaining, and then we'll reflect back. Okay. I'm going to do it on a professional level. But I'm going to keep it very tailored, because we're attorneys here.
Yeah.
So I cannot come with that energy. But if you want to talk about my petty, family or friends or boyfriend, girlfriends of clients that we represent, when they are part of the consultation or at the court hearing with us and everything like that, and you have a lot of opinions and you're questioning what we do as attorneys of why we're not doing this or doing that, or you're dictating the clients of what they should say because you have a little bit of control thing. All those encompassing. So the single sentence will explain, like, people who are connected to the clients that you represent but want to give you their 2 cents. We are not fresh out of the boat. And if we were even fresh out of the boat, the people who went to law school and was barred or not barred are still more professionally, competently, intelligently capable to conduct a court hearing because we have taken classes to proceed from there. And then when we passed the bar, all we learned was the law. But you have a natural development of instinct that comes from you where you trust your situation, especially when you're an attorney who has actually had more hearings than probably a lot of the other people in the profession right now, when everybody's getting settlements and mediations and dismissals or some voluntary because it's agreed. Then there's this low, fresh, new cut, handsome attorney, not going to name names, it's me, who has had hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of hearings of strategy and beliefs. It's one thing where I can have my client question me. My client should question me. I'm telling all the attorneys who listen out there, your client should question you. And you should assuage their concerns by stating the facts, the law, and the procedure. Not their promises. We all want promises. They want guarantees. We can't do that. We can't. That's free advice to anybody who's coming into the game. But you can tell them that, hey, this is the reason why we can't do this. And you reiterate the same thing over and over and over again. And when you say not sure, you go and you follow up. That's on you as an attorney, whether you're doing your own solo firm, a small practice firm, a big firm. And I'm going to tell you now, kids, when you get into the thick of things, those small firms or those big firms that promise you tutelage and going to teach you stuff, they can teach you civil procedure. They can teach you maybe some trial litigation. None of them can ever teach you how to handle your client, nor can they really teach you how to handle those accessories, is what we'll call them, that come to court things. But the petty for me comes into is like, you obviously want to have 2 cents, especially because you have a high form of education, or because you saw it with your lawyer when you had a lawsuit, which was something completely different than what you're going from there, or you saw it in a TV show, or because you were a clerk at some point, or whatever. You have touch points to the profession. You are not doing a service to the attorney who's helping the person that you care so much about. When you're questioning their competency, their education, or their planning of case. We can't tell you everything. Hell, I don't even tell my clients half the time what I'm going to do about cross or closings. Part of it's because I figure it out to begin with. With my kind of law and work that I do, I'm finding out a lot of stuff at first blush and formulate. But the other thing is that if I don't set that to my clients, I don't want to give them what the expectations of actually what might happen. And then when it goes against the result that they might be seeking, it breaks their heart. You have to do this for a little bit of TLC. I know, sir. But for you, Mr. or Mrs. Accessory, why are you bringing in that intensity? Because because what happens is if you lose, and here's the thing about litigation, kids, the fans out there, the people who think about lawyers, sometimes probably like 80% of the cases that happen, you probably don't have a case to begin with, right? In many different, maybe not 80, that's too high of a number, but there's a good amount of cases where you might find that it's a winnable case, but when you see what the real practice of life is, you shouldn't even have filed at the clerk store, right? Going to their area. But it really also breaks apart the attorneys where none of us here should be reflecting like, man, is it me? Is there something wrong with me? And then you realize it's not you, because that's the motions. That's always step one where you're like, oh God, is it really me? Maybe I'm not looking at it. Maybe I have tunnel vision. I'm constructing this case the way I have to construct. And then part 2 comes down when you hear the person keep talking, and then it just reminds you of South Park, where Stan becomes a teenager, or not teenager, but he hits the double digits, and you see the stuff spewing out. Yeah. And then it becomes a thing where like, man, I really hope this case is over because I don't want to deal with that accessory anymore. And that affects your relationship. That could always affect your relationship with your client. Well, I try not to. I don't think Francis would try not to. Andrew doesn't try to do that. But it's something that I'm going to be petty about, because why? This is why I tell people, don't bring anybody. Don't bring friends. Don't bring family. It's an emotional state. That's fine. But because you make me twitch my eye a little bit. And I could treat my client nice, but because my client might care about you, I can't bear the teeth that I would if we were in the street. You know what I mean? I don't want them to suffer enough as it is. But man, you'll be petty. If it was my way, ooh. But that's my complaints and grievances. That also probably serves as annoyance as well. But the pettiness of like, y'all don't need to be there because y'all ain't that level. Y'all ain't him. Y'all ain't her. Ease up.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that in my soul from all these years now. Oh man, Andrew, how about you? From what walks of life? What has been?
Show
What is
us your
something?
petty.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's
Reveal it. Whip it
show us
out.
the petty.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to intentionally save the best for later. Save the best for a later pool.
All right.
But you better hope
I'm
that
gonna-
we remember.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I open with my
I'm
opening.
going to build
salvo.
up. I'm gonna build up to this. So, my petty is with sports media,
Okay.
particular sports media.
Yeah. You know. Yeah. They're not.
I
Like
mean,
they're not the
That's what
30.
led to this.
You know, we're the 37th best indie sports podcast in the world. So
Yeah,
yeah.
the Richard Nixon's a sports podcast. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there are so many things that I could be petty about with them. But one in particular, for me, strangely stands out. And it has to do with, you probably guessed it, UCF.
Yeah. I was at Stephen.
What
A.
it
Smith.
is some media, some sports reporters, some media, and even just the whole, not even just individual people, sometimes it's the whole organization. I'm not even talking, I've gotten over the whole Central Florida thing. I've matured and come to realize that, you know, it is the University of Central Florida. You don't call it UH for University of Houston or University
FSU.
I mean,
We go by
Right.
both FSU or
It is
Florida
a-
State, because nobody's thinking Fresno State when you say FSU.
right. So I mean, I've matured on that, and I'm like, all right, fine. But the real petty is when these media insist on still calling us the Golden Knights and using old logos. That really pisses me off. Because we have the UCF used to be the Knights from like the early 70s until 1993, when in order to drum up more merchandising, they opted to change it to the Golden Knights. That lasted from 1993 until 2007, when they went back to the Knights. So UCF, as of a few years ago, has been the Knights significantly longer than they were ever the Golden Knights. And it's been, let's see, mid-2007. So this will be coming up on 16 years, if my math is correct, that UCF has been the Knights. Not the Golden Knights, the Knights. And yet there are still news outlets, and I'm not talking little, Joe from his own personal blog. I still see it from ESPN, from ESPN reporters, from legitimate outlets. Not legitimate, you know what I mean? The popular, well-known,
The big dogs,
right, are still calling us the Golden Knights. It's like, either you're doing it to piss us off, or you are such a bad reporter, such a terrible reporter, that you can't do a modicum of research to see that we haven't been the Golden Knights in a decade and a half. It puts UCF bias aside. It puts a bad name on sports reporters, because it
Do you have anybody that
demonstrates
you want
either-
to out? Do you want to say this news station or this sports reporter?
Well, certainly ESPN. They seem to be the largest offender. I mean, they're getting better. Overall, everyone is getting better, I will be honest. But you'll still see 10 or so references a year calling us the Golden Knights. I can't name anyone off the top of my head, but
It seems like Stephen A.
like,
Smith
for
probably do
example,
that. Seems like it.
There's one example that stands out in my mind. In the 2014 NFL draft, I think it was the Ravens drafted a wide receiver of ours, Rashad Perriman.
Mm-hmm.
And was in the first round, mind you. So it wasn't like, not that it excuses laziness in the later rounds, but you would imagine that in the night, it's the big night, they take the longest time, they bring out all the celebrities and all that shit. You would imagine you would cross your T's and dot your I's on the big night. But no. And again, this is 2014. So almost 7 years. No.
But it's
it
9 years.
It wasn't 2014. It was 2015. My bad. He was drafted in 15. 14 was the Bortles year. So he was drafted in 2015, and they, in the graphic for him, used the old Golden Knights logo. And again, this is 2015, so 8 years removed. And I took a screenshot for proof.
This is good, Petty, because he went deep diving.
He
got the screenshots.
Oh, that's since 2015. He's been saving.
He's been jotting this down.
It was unacceptable then. Here's what really pisses me off. Now I'm getting into it.
The Petty pool.
So
take a swim.
Florida State changed their logo, which, by the way, was a huge mistake.
I'm fine with it.
They had so many better options. They changed their logo in 2014. That's all they changed. They didn't change their name. All they did was they changed their logo and they standardized their garnet and gold. That's it. A couple of very minor tweaks. Everyone got the fuck on board right away.
Mm.
Within a year or two, everybody was using the correct logo. 2 years, and it was just a little logo change. UCF did a logo change, a name change. They did all this shit. It wasn't like they were hiding it either, and it wasn't like we were, Mount Union, which is a D3 school out in God knows wherever. I think somewhere in Minnesota. This is UCF, a FBS school. Everyone knows, not everyone, but it wasn't an unknown commodity at that time. They won the Liberty Bowl in 2010, 3 years removed, and they're still using Golden Knights and logos and the old logos. It's like, aside from it being petty for just the disrespect, because at this point, within 2 years, okay, fine, it's an honest mistake. They're still doing it 16 years later. I'm forgetting how to math. And I was already bad at math as it is, but that's just disrespect at this point. I don't care if it was intentional or not, but it's disrespectful that you didn't take a second. It takes what? Just look up UCF football da-da-da-da-da. It probably takes 10 seconds to pull up the Wikipedia article. You don't even have to go to the main UCF website. Just pull up UCF football. You'll see in 10 seconds or less that it's the UCF Knights. It's no longer the Golden Knights. It'll take you all of 10 seconds. It's not some laborious task. And you're still not taking the time. It's disrespectful either because you're doing it intentionally, and that's assuming the worst, or you don't care enough both for UCF and for your fucking job to take a second to make sure that everything is correct. I do that with the most I do that with the most basic shit whenever I edit a document for a lawyer, even if it's just a basic notice of appearance, even if I'm drafting an email. Sometimes I edit my family's emails. And if, like, for instance, they're talking about SeaWorld, I will check, make sure if it's SeaWorld one word, W lowercase, is it SeaWorld one word with the W uppercase, or is it two words? I do that when checking an email, not when I'm writing an article that you're going to be posting to Twitter and will be seen nationally. Hell, of course I would do that. But you don't care enough about what you're doing for your job and what team you're writing about to take those 10 seconds. It's a disgrace to sports media. So it's petty in a lot of ways. It's a very nuanced, spiderwebby, petty, but it really grinds my gears to quote Peter Griffin.
Oh boy! Alrighty, okay. So that was our three things, and we didn't have a fourth. We don't have a fourth person. Freddie's not on, so that would have been fun if he threw something in there. But I'm here on Wikipedia. I'm going to click on a random article and we're going to be petty about it. Hopefully it's something that's actually horrible and not it's something that's good, like charity towards children's cancer or something. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you could also just make the petty about 2 out of 3 falls, because who knows? Wait, I got one we could be petty on as a collective group.
Okay.
Not ordering Factor 75 for your delicious meals instead of coming home. This is literally could be it for the next 4 weeks. It's great. We could do this.
Yeah.
So
that's true. That's the third time we got to mention
work,
it.
I had to go between 2 counties today. You know what my lunch was, boys? Peanut jelly sandwich. I didn't have a real meal. Granted, I had corn in the afternoon, so I was afraid for a bowel movement. But sometimes you need the proper fuels in your body. Not that sweet PB&J with some bread. You need whatever Factor 75 can get you. Salads, fish, chicken, turkey. I'm sure they have it.
Nice.
They probably even have superior PB&Js instead of me buying the Great Value
it's
brand.
all designed by chefs. All chefs.
All designed by chefs. You don't want Chef Charles's food. No one needs to suffer through those indecencies. It's not like we're making a Sistine Chapel up in here, but Factor 75. Be petty by the fact that you would subject yourself to fast food, which I've only had fast food 4 times since November. I'm just as shocked as you are. But with Factor 75, I could probably factor in all my bad habits and take away and factor in the good habits I'm making when I have specialty chefs making my meals, whatever the amounts that you need. Use our promo code. That's on the link site. That's there because I can't read and say things at the same time as I'm thinking on the fly.
It's a pretty long promo code, but it's on everything. It's posted everywhere. It's all over the place. It's going automatically. We tweeted it out. It's on the screen. It's on our descriptions. So they'll find it. It's there. If you're watching on Twitch, there's a little panel down there. If you go in the About section, boom, you can see it right there. It's the first thing. Click on it. You'll be directed immediately to there. So there you go. And yeah, I've also been on a non-fast food streak lately, actually, as well.
Do you feel better?
I do. I've been I was on a pub sub streak. So I don't know if it's healthier.
It's
healthier.
We know what we mean by fast food.
Exactly. When I eat a pub sub, I feel full, but I don't feel horrible.
You're not getting high trans fats.
Exactly. So I was on only because when I got home I just didn't feel like cooking. But lately I have been cooking. I've been buying actual meat and stuff like that, putting it together. But it'd be just so much easier if I could just go to, you know what? I should just get Factor 75 was just waiting at my door right there. I just pick it up and get the skillet going, and then boom, we're ready to go on the food there. But yeah, I've been on a night, and I've even thought about going to fast food places like I'm near, Andrew knows, I'm near fast food joints. There's Burger King nearby. There's a Wendy's nearby as well, and a Taco Bell for sure nearby. But I've been driving by. Even though I'm hungry, like today I was hungry, and I'm like, and there was like a sliver, like a 30-minute slot that I could have gotten out of the office, just gone to Taco Bell real quick and picked up something at the drive-thru. But I just thought about it. I'm just like, I don't want to do that to myself right now. I've been trying to improve my physical health this year, so I've also kind of I've been second guessing the fast food, and we love Taco Bell, man. That was like our thing for like a long time, like in 2019 or something like that, during the pandemic. So like but lately I just second guessing it. I've been cooking my own stuff. I mean, I made my own arepas and stuff like that, and just not really going for it anymore, man. It at 35, I have to start second guessing it now. Yeah, sure, maybe every once in a while, but I don't remember the last fast food thing that I had. I probably picked up like Wendy's when I was going to my parents' place, maybe close to like a month ago now, actually.
My last one was like Taco Bell 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I was okay. That was fine.
Yeah.
I don't miss it, but sometimes you want it, but you have to be better.
Yeah, no, and I've thought about it too, and I'm just like, and yeah, Taco Bell's not bad. I always get the the chalupas and all stuff like that. It's fine for me. It's and I don't drink much of the soda. I probably take like a couple sips, like 3 or 4, and then I honestly just throw it away afterwards. I have not been taking soda well at all lately. Not diet sodas, nothing. Like I can't go through them now. I just don't feel good when I drink them anymore, which is a good thing. It's a good thing, but I just don't feel like it, man. It's just thinking about it, man. Just trying to prove. As of course, I bought a Mega Stuff Oreo last time I went to go visit Andrew. I bought myself a pack of Mega Stuffs.
Listen, we said fast food, not sugar. Okay.
Yeah, but even the sugar, that was like the last bad thing that I bought. Cause at the I just looked at it. I'm just like, fine. But then like lately, I've been been going to Publix, all these things, and I just look at stuff and I'm just like, no, Avast, away from me, beast. So that's what I've been doing. Oh, we're at 1 hour and 8 minutes, guys. So that's a good word from our non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you, that we've been enjoying over the last week. I started last week, so I don't know if any of you guys want to do start it for this week. Not sure.
Let Andrew go, because I have to think for a second on mine.
Andrew, are you ready? You got something you've been enjoying last week?
Sure.
Cool beans. Let's do it.
Well, you touched on it briefly, so I'm just gonna go with GoldenEye. The video game.
Good one. That's a good one. I beat that.
I was a huge James Bond fan as a kid. With the exception of the Daniel Craig movies, I've seen all of the James Bond films.
Really?
Never saw Daniel Craig movies?
I'm not the guy to go see movies because I've only really seen like 2 James Bond's movies. But wow, you're a mega fan.
And I saw them all of them before I finished high school. So, I mean, admittedly, a lot of the, we'll call it suggestive things in James Bond kind of got past me, kind of went over my head.
Yeah, you were like 10. So,
like, Like, oh, Pussy Galore. That's an interesting
A
name.
lot of vagina.
A lot of vagina.
We're gonna get canceled.
So
And they said it on Austin Powers, all right? It was PG-13. We can do that.
yeah, that was Austin Powers. We can do that. And I don't know if this is just personal bias of being the Bond when I was growing up, but my favorite Bond is Pierce Brosnan. I feel like he was a nice combination of the best of Sean Connery. He had suave, he was debonair, and he also had that toughness about him. But anyway, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent. So, GoldenEye, in retrospect, I went back and watched 3 of the 4 Brosnan movies. I haven't gotten around to a rewatch of Die Another Day yet. But I've seen GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, and The World Is Not Enough within the past few years or so. And GoldenEye is such a great movie, and it was definitely the best of Brosnan's through no fault of his own, because the writing in the other ones was a bit off at times. Apparently, GoldenEye was written with the intent for Timothy Dalton, the immediate prior Bond. It was intended to be a bit more dark and gritty, as opposed to what the Brosnan roles for the rest of his tenure were. But GoldenEye is such a good movie. And the video game, it doesn't really stand up today in terms of, user interface, user friendly. The aiming is a bit wonky. It's certainly a product of its time when, the big FPS really was Doom. This was the first 3D FPS shooter. So of course there's going to be hiccups.
On a
console.
Yes.
So of course there's going to be hiccups and errors and whatever. But it's still a really good game. And the other thing is it very loosely follows the storyline of the film. If you've seen the film, it's a very, very, very loose following of the movie. But still a great game. I'm playing it right now, as a matter of fact. I'm shooting a bunch of Russian guys. Which, how ironic. GoldenEye was made in the immediate aftermath of the Cold War, when Russia was still considered an enemy, and look where we are all these years later. So yeah, GoldenEye, great game, even better movie. I highly recommend seeing certainly the movie, and if you want a fun time, a good what's the word I'm looking for? A good kind of nostalgia trip, if you will. Play GoldenEye if you have what is it called? The Switch Family Plan?
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch Online, the expansion pass, which gives you the N64 games. Or it's on Xbox Game Pass as well. Or Rare Replay if you have that. So
you can play it on your favorite modern consoles except now too. So except PlayStation. So go at it. Go have fun. Promo code oh goodness.
Bro, 007. You have to.
Odd Job. I don't know.
Odd Job, 007, Golden Gun, Big Head,
Yeah, big head.
I'm gonna do Yanis. That's
Oh yeah,
it's.
yeah.
If you've seen the movie, you'll know what that means.
Spoilers.
Oh, and by the way, no, I won't spoil it if anyone's seen it. But
It's a 25-year-old
I mean, the movie's been out since
movie.
1996.
Yeah, it's a 25-year-old movie, 26-year-old movie.
It's like the thing about the Sixth Sense. Bruce Willis is dead kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's all right. He sees dead people.
It's a 25-year-old N64.
But the well-worn
twist.
the well-worn trope of Sean Bean dying in movies, it absolutely continues in this one, and it is a spectacular death. So yeah, see the movie, play the game, see the game. I'm sure you can. There are plenty of walkthroughs, but play it.
I'm playing the one that I did just recently right now, so that's in the background as you were speaking. So yeah. And you got it.
GoldenEye.
Yeah. Nice.
GoldenEye 007, which is the game. Play them, watch them, do it.
Yeah.
Do it for your country.
Alrighty. So there you go. So Andrew's currently serving MI6 at this point. So that's cool. Yeah, I did enjoy this game. I had never played the campaign at all because like every time, like none of my friends. None of my friends owned it, but of course rented it from Blockbuster and really just played the multiplayer, right? So that was it. And this game didn't have co-op single player. That was in Perfect Dark that would have that. But so I never played the campaign proper. So this was my first time actually experiencing it. I never owned the game on the N64. So it was fun. It was nice to go back and see like this simplistic style. It wasn't that Charles, you might hate me for this, but like I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Titanfall too, honestly.
I mean, I don't hate you for it.
Okay.
Like, there's a reason why GoldenEye is of superiority.
Yeah.
I like Titanfall because I think it was rare to have a first-person shooter that's actually perfectly crafted for a sci-fi vibe. Without being too sci-fi. It's an action sci-fi game. Like listen, I know I talk a lot of trash about the love of the old pixelation and your love for it and how I can't move forward, but that's a personal preference for me. When today is Ramona's anniversary.
Yeah, that's true.
We love you. But I get it. I understand.
Yeah. I like the simplistic, just the stories, the mission structure and everything like that. It was just like get in, get out, do your thing, and then move on to the next thing. Compared to like just some FPSs that just kind of do things just to have it there, as like the modern ones. But even then, I haven't played many modern FPSs, so what am I supposed to know? I'm trying to improve that aspect of my gaming repertoire. But all right, so I'll go next. I'll be number 2 here. That's an Austin Powers reference. I mean, it's been gosh, man, over the week. Just I've been tired. I've been kind of just trying to pass time, especially with work and stuff like that. So my YouTube recommendations kind of been all over the place, really. The algorithm's trying to figure out what the fuck I like now, because it ebbs and flows. And I got a lot of baseball videos lately. I got some basketball stuff, a little bit of hockey, with regards to sports. But then like I got a bunch of those new AI voice things that are happening now. So they're always showing the ones with the presidents. I'm not into that. It's whatever. That's too real with them playing like Call of Duty and stuff like that. I've been watching more like this Elder Scrolls guy from Dagoth from Morrowind or something like that. I don't know nothing about the game, but he's funny as hell when I listen to them. But finally, YouTube rolled around to something I started to actually like, and it's these guys that put on another podcast. I mean, whatever. They're not in the sports category, the indie sports category, so they're not really competition for us. But it's called Beef Boys. First off, the name got me. That's what. Second of all, it's actually one YouTuber that I do subscribe to. His name is Many Kudos. I think I've played a couple videos for you, Andrew, from him. He's the one that did the thing about RuneScape. That I think I played.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's him, and he does it with he's a New Zealander, but he does it with 3 other American friends. I think 2 of them are like, one guy's in Florida, but he's like he's kind of like Charles. He's from like New York, New Jersey, and then like the other one's, I don't know, lives in like Alaska or something like that, and something like that. And then one of them lives in California, and he's like the only he's Mexican. He's the only non-white guy there. But they're funny. I think they're funny. I think they're fun. I've been listening to them talk about a bunch of topics, and they did what hooked me was they did a reading of Sonic High School, which is a Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction. And as a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, I kind of knew where this was gonna go, but it is extreme. They've dramatized it. They've added some voices and stuff and things like that. All kinds of. They've gotten some other YouTubers to kind of guest appear on it and read from it. But Sonic High School is absolutely insane. I've been reading it lately for my own, just because I wanted to do it myself. Now that I listen to them do it, because it's funny as hell. But it's not even safe for this podcast. It is extreme, but it is hilarious. It was probably made by some guy in eighth. No, it was literally made by a kid in 8th grade, and just insane. So that was funny, and they talk about other stuff. Sometimes they get a little bit serious and stuff, but I just like listening to them talk. It's been fun. So Beef Boys, they've got some sick intros, and they have they have a love of Taco Bell too, guys. Their entire theme is them sitting at a Taco Bell and talking. Like different themed Taco Bells. Like they were like stuck on a desert island Taco Bell. Now they're in space. They're in like an intergalactic Taco Bell right now. It's great. So yeah, Beef Boys, promo code, which is a fart noise because they keep playing it all the time, and for whatever reason, it gets me going. Oh man.
I did not have on 2023 podcast bingo you doing what you think is a raspberry.
Yeah,
I think the articulation of what you.
I can't do the armpit thing. I can't. I can't
what?
do it. I can't do it. I can't do a lot of things. What? I can't do the armpit fart sound.
What?
I can't do it. I can't whistle either.
Were you not a 5-year-old boy in elementary school?
I was, and I can't do it.
You just woke up and one day you were created, and then you were 7 years old.
I can't do it.
Andrew, can you do?
I can't. I can whistle at least.
I can't whistle.
There you go. All right, so we're all a little bit of everything.
Wow, this is crushing. So you're gonna laugh at mine because I really, man, between what I chose, I was thinking this and I was thinking Stream 6. So I'm gonna do a double. Go see Stream 6. It's fine. It's okay. It's good. I think 5 is still better, but it didn't bring me as much joy as the next thing I'm talking about. No, it's not Ramona. She won already Product of the Year and all that stuff and non-sponsor. I got Sweet Tooth. I also have a sweet drink, quenching that comes at night. Is that the way I have to say it? Yeah, I have needs with my throat that need to be quenched. That sounds so bad. That requires more
out
than
of
just
context.
water
It does.
and protein and greens powders. You guys gotta understand. If I wake up and I'm about to head out to work and stuff like that, it's a mixture of a protein shake with greens powders. If I, I'm trying not to drink that much, but if I do put anything, it's a little bit of soda. When I go out to eat, it's usually a water unless I'm on a Sprite. You know what I mean? But I try to avoid the store because if I go to the store and I see it right there, I know I want it. I got a craving for it. It's like one of my favorite drinks. I don't need it with a cocktail. I'll drink it by itself. I don't need it dilute. I need it all my life. But I had some of it last night. I bought some yesterday. I was very upset that they didn't have the big ass size of it. Do you guys know the greatness of Ocean Spray cranberry pomegranate juice? Because it is one of my purest favorite things. If I am getting executed and they ask me for a last meal, aside whatever I order food-wise, I'm getting that right there. I'm going to say, please, can you provide me a nice, cold, heaping glass of Ocean Spray, cranberry pomegranate juice? Because when we talk about stuff, we talk about a daily consistency, and that stuff blew up when I was living on my own in law school, and I was like, man, I've been back on that for a little bit, but it just hit that quenching, and I didn't have just 1 cup, I had 2 cups. And one of my dentists ate me all that sugar that comes in, but it's also juice. It's supposed to be good for you. It's not like apple juice. Apple juice is good, but it's loaded up with artificial stuff. I'm sure Ocean Spray is of the highest quality. Probably a lie, but damn it, guys, it quenched that thirst. It gave me that sugar in my body. It tastes damn good. I felt hydrated in ways that you never before. If I want a Gatorade for hydration, no, thank you. Ocean Spray cranberry pomegranate juice. If I want, a night, if I'm in a Sahara desert, coming out of it, dying of thirst, water, Nestle, that stuff, which has poison in it, no, thank you. Ocean Spray cranberry pomegranate juice. Last meal, last drink, Ocean Spray cranberry pomegranate juice. I just love it. And the problem is now we've got like 2 weeks in a row of me getting it. And I'm like, I feel like I'm about to fall off the wagon and constantly have it. But there's something refreshing about it. I've also had the cranberry juice too. That's great as well. But something with the cran pom, man. And here's the thing, I like it so much. I can't even just like get the great value form of it at Walmart because I feel like it's going to be wrong. It's going to be wrong. I'm going to hate my life and I'm going to cry about it because I feel like sometimes you always have to go with the name brand. Case in point, you never buy great value or knockoff Pop-Tarts. It is not the same. The frosting's not the same. The gel is not the same. The filling's not the same. Yeah. It is bad.
I tried the Aldi version of Oreos.
Can't do it. I'm sorry. What?
Whoa!
What?
Never
It's
again.
Not the same, man. I'm terrified. How I want to betray my love for cranberry pomegranate juice. It's just good, and it helps you pee. Got your vitamin C in there.
That's true. We're getting old.
We gotta keep it consistent.
Alrighty. Crap. Hold on, guys. Wait, if you guys can hear me, I can't hear you. Wait a second. Hold on, guys. Wait a second. For whatever reason, I cannot hear you guys. Charles is probably talking and all over the place right now, and nobody can hear me. So we got to figure that out. What is going on here? All right, folks. So this is of course a sports Goofs. So of course something goes horribly wrong, and I got to figure out the sound settings here. I may just have to pop in and pop that out of the group chat real quick. So I'm gonna do that, and I will pop back in, and hopefully that'll fix everything. Charles was in his nice gigantic promotion of Ocean Spray cranberry pomegranate juice, and it probably was a great finish. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, I can't get sound out of this thing anymore. I don't know if it was Facebook Messenger or whatever, but hey, this is what happens when you listen to 37th Best Indie Sports Podcast, and they can hear me, but I can't hear them. So that's a problem. That is a problem for us who are doing this show. Right? Because you guys can hear me. Because I can tell because my microphone is going off. But I can't hear them. And that's a problem. This is Sports Goofs, and I got to figure out. Let me see. Let me join that video call. Maybe finally. All right. So.
All right, well, we hear you.
I couldn't hear you guys. For whatever reason, I lost whatever. Maybe my internet went slightly down. But it still connects to the show. Out of the way, I missed that last portion, Charles, unfortunately.
Well, it's okay. Cranberry, pomegranate, Ocean Spray, nectar of the gods.
He was extolling the virtues of, was it Ocean Spray cranberry pomegranate?
Yes, indeed. Yep. Still got it on the screen. So there you go. Well, guys, we're at an hour and 28 minutes. We kind of talked about the two things I wanted to talk about, which was baseball and that thing. Talked a little bit about NBA. I don't really know much else after that. And I guess hockey's happening, but I haven't really been paying much attention other than the Panthers are very inconsistent. And it's 8:37 on my end. Is there anything you guys want to talk about? Or can we just head over to Change and make it a short show?
Hey, I'd like to broach one subject really quick that we were talking about prior to the show. And I want to get Charles's opinion on this here.
This is going to go back to the petty world.
Kind of. So Charles is of the opinion that what have you done for me lately?
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right.
That's not actually my opinion. My opinion is trash. And then you want to know why.
Was this just about the lightning, or is this about things, or the concept of people thinking of about sports in that sense? I don't know.
It's more about Charles. So for those who obviously couldn't hear because this was before the show, Charles said that the Tampa Bay Lightning were trash. So I responded to him with, you consider a team that has gone to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 times in 3 seasons and has won 2 of those, 2 of which were back-to-back. He considers that team to be trash. And he said yes. And I asked him why. And he said, what have you done for me lately? So, Charles, who is a devoted Yankees fan, I want to put you on the spot here. Do you acknowledge that the Yankees have 27 championships?
That's kind of stupid, Andrew.
Eh?
If you're gonna say if I acknowledge, it's there. It's there. They have 27 championships. I think what you're trying to say is that they're trash, right, for not having recent ones, or the ones that they lost.
I that was the concept.
Yeah, you gotta articulate better than
what have you done for me lately? Which is,
yeah,
if you're going by like the Yankee mindset,
like
the Yankee mindset of they didn't win the World Series.
Oh, I got this.
Okie dokie.
But you mentioned Yankees. I'm also of another team that had consecutive finals appearances.
Appearances.
No, wait. Hold on, buddy. That won 2 in a row. Went to 4, won 2 in a row, and lost the last one. We're bringing in the Miami Heat on this one. You ready for Francisco? We're bringing everybody into this.
Alrighty.
I'll start with Francisco's neutral thing. Francisco, do we? What year is it that we went where we lost in the final one? 2013 or 2014? It was 2013.
2014
right?
was the last one with LeBron on the team. Yeah. Yes.
I was there. Do you get all creamy and happy about that one, even though we won back to back?
No.
Prior.
No.
2 years prior.
No.
Yeah.
That was just the Spurs revenge tour.
Do you even consider that in the concept of a dynasty? You'll acknowledge the first
Not
one,
really.
right? When we lost the Mavericks. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, but that's fine. That's why we're working into it, because that even works.
2 in a row is not a dynasty.
But you remember the good times.
Well, let me ask you this.
Wait, but I still have it. Hold on. Wait. I have a thing that's going to further lightning. And then what happened after the 2013 loss? Or 2014? It was 2013.
The team broke up. LeBron left.
14. What happened?
LeBron left.
And the Heat went way low, right?
Yeah.
Much like a certain Tampa Bay Lightning, right? Pressure got too big. Lights got too bright. Big boys couldn't wear daddy's shoes anymore. It was very terrible. So it is a very what have you done for me lately. Yours is a little bit of a different situation, Andrew, because you want to talk about the 3 of them, right? The going to 3 appearances. You lost to one against, what was it, Colorado? Look at that, I remember things.
Yeah,
that was last year.
I don't remember who you beat prior, but that one was good. And the one before that is the Mickey Mouse one, which we take the Mickey out of you on and all the time. So, and where you are now, if you were... Okay, just let me finish the thought, and then you can, rock your jocks on how much you love the Lightning. You gotta let me finish it here. Is that if the situation changes, now mind you, I'm saying trash partially on 2 reasons. You lost last year, sure, but you're nowhere near the competitive level where you were. That could change if you got back there. Cooper, and here's the thing, for me to know your coach's name is respect, right? Yeah, but if they get hot and they can go at least back to the final, I'm not talking about Eastern Finals, because they're Eastern Conference, right? Look at that, I remember things.
Yeah.
But to get back to the Stanley Cup, then yeah. But the mentality is that if you have all the people, if you have all the potential, if you were supposedly the best team and weren't the Lightning like the best team in the East last year, were they the second one?
Were they the number 1 seed in the East? No, the Panthers won.
The
Panthers actually were. I keep forgetting because we didn't do anything.
Yeah. But then if it doesn't, the Yankee mentality is this, and the Miami Heat mentality is this, and the fandom. We don't celebrate second place, and we have to forget about it as quickly as we can, right? And we can enjoy the good years, the great years, and that's why you put the big little heart on your marker on that calendar year. But I would say they're trash if you're telling me fundamentally right now that their season is hovering above 500. They're not known to be the best NHL team, which is the Bruins, right? Am I right? On
The
East?
Bruins
By
are
far.
on a historic
Yeah.
pace right now. Yes.
So when you're comparing where you were, where you are now, and what could possibly be, I think the trash thing is fine. Granted, if they finish above 500, that's not trash per se.
They will.
But,
They will.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but all much ado about nothing, because if your fracturing just doesn't get you anywhere and you're bounced out in the first round, maybe it's that. But now I will let you have the turn to tell me how they're not trash. They've had the only back-to-back dynasties for a long time and all that stuff. I'll hear you out.
I'm not calling us a dynasty yet.
But didn't you
I
call
agree
this a
with
dynasty
you.
last year when you got to the finals?
Or
If
was that
we
the
won
whole
the
Tampa
final,
Bay
yeah.
thing with the Buccaneers and the Rays who
If
didn't
we
even win?
won-
Anyways,
If
let him
we
finish.
won
Let him
in-
finish.
if we won in the finals, then yes, I would consider us a dynasty. I will say that if we win this year, there is an argument to be made that we are a dynasty. And let me
Fair.
explain why. You guys, I'm sure you know you're a thing or two about baseball history. You know the Big Red Machine, correct? Johnny Bench,
Yeah.
Pete Rose.
The 70s, yes.
They went to 4 finals, only won 2, of which those 2 were in back-to-back years.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone considers them one of the best teams, not just of the 70s, but all time. And they only won 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, to your point, and I wouldn't call them trash overall. Right now, they're playing like trash. The Lightning are. They are currently trash. I'm not afraid to say that. As much as
Relatively
I don't want to,
speaking. Relative
For-
to past seasons. Yes.
correct. We're playing like total dookie right now. So, but to call them generally trash, I don't know if I could go that far to say that the team as a whole is a trash. We're playing like trash, but I wouldn't say the Lightning are trash yet. Damn it, Natalia just ran in front of my bullets and killed herself.
No, she blew herself up. She was shooting one of the boxes and she blew herself up in one of the missions for me. That's why I use the save state. I use the save states a bunch because of that.
Oh God. Anyway, so we'll see. I mean, if the Bolts can get back to the finals this season or in the next, certainly this season, there's an argument to be made that they are a modern dynasty. If an imperfect one, because again, it's generally accepted you need that third. I fully admit that. But again, Big Red Machine only won 2.
Yeah,
You
but
can have a
that
nickname.
Two
You can have a
things
nickname.
on that. Yeah, I think you're trying to use a different sports justification. You should never, I'm saying now, if you're calling that particular sport and that team a dynasty, you go by the litmus test of what that other franchises in your actual league would go with, right? So, because I think of what the Kings, Blackhawks, and Red Wings
in
are
hockey.
usually-
I'll throw my stuff in here. In hockey, the dynasties that people recognize, and I don't even consider stuff pre-original six, because that's like pre-original six is like whatever. I count everything after expansion because that's when there were actual other teams. You know, the like that. The pre-original six era is ancient history to me. It's like the pre-Super Bowl era for me, or even pre-expansion for baseball too. Like, oh yeah, the Yankees won like 40 before 19 whatever, but justified. The Yankees won the most since expansion, so that makes sense. The same thing with the Habs. The Habs have a dynasty because they had some. They won like three or four in a row in the late 70s, and then that was followed by the Islanders dynasty, which was 4 in a row, followed by the Oilers dynasty, which was like 5 in like 7 years. And then since then, you had the Penguins that went back to back. You You had the Red Wings, who kind of did like the San Antonio Spurs thing, where they won a bunch within like a span of like a decade and a half. So that's kind of like that. But then you had the Blackhawks, which was the last dynasty. But even then, that was like over the course, not back to back to back, like what people consider most dynasties. But in the salary cap era and stuff like that, fine. Winning that much within a 5-6 year span is good enough for me. Same thing with like in baseball, with the San Francisco Giants. Those are for me, the recognized dynasties in the NHL. And Leafs fans, no. So nothing since 1967, which was the last time you actually won the cup. So, get good, win something for once, but you're probably going to lose to the Lightning in the first round, and I'm going to laugh about that. Anyways, go ahead, Andrew. Or no, Charles, you want to make a point?
The one thing I want to... Yeah, just one thing. Sometimes you could win titles and not
I don't know, Francisco, what would it take for you to say that...
Wait.
Let Charles finish his thing, and then you can ask me.
Yeah. Sometime, and it's not going to be a 50-minute thing that I'm going to say, it's 2 sentences. Sometimes you could win the title but not be the best team, because it could be argued if you want to compare franchise, the Bills were the best team in that back-to-back-to-back appearances at least 2 out of the 4 times, but they just got screwed over. Lightning themselves, you still could have that crux of being the best team in the NHL. That's where you were going with, I think, in 21, 22, or 21, yes.
Well, they beat the Panthers last year. Well, 21 was when they actually won.
They won the 1920 Stanley Cup and the 2021 Stanley Cup.
Okay, thank you. So the one that's 2021, possibly, the one there. So that's also a thing of consideration. But continue. Now you can let it out.
All right, Andrew, what are you going to ask me?
So Francisco, what would it take for you to consider this core of the Lightning to be a dynasty?
This core of the Lightning, which let's say start year. The start year for this core was the way that it is constructed was 2019 when you guys lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets. That was the start year. Because that season, you probably should have won the Cup in 2019, but you disappointed everybody. And then the 2020 and then 2021, which even I can make asterisks for both of those, but I'll give them to you. Because, especially 21, because that was actual, real Stanley Cup finals, and that made sense. Especially... the Eastern Conference final against the Islanders. But this core would have to win a third. They'd have to do it within... You lost last year. Okay, the Avs finally got theirs. They were building up to that one. So then I've been predicting the Avs to actually do something for all that time. You'd have to win one more, either this season or next season. Because I think that's realistically the window that you guys have. Because it's going to be harder from here on out. Because even the Bruins are super awesome right now, but the Bruins are I think vastly different from the one that featured in the finals in 2019. Heck, the Blues are completely broken up from that 2019 team. So the Bruins they've really just kept, was it Bergeron and Marchand? I think McAvoy was on that team too, and Pasternak. But Tuukka Rasmussen's even on the team no more. Like that's it's there. Usually when the goalies change, that's like when something's huge. So you'd have to win one more. It's like the Penguins. The Penguins, prior to that, they won 2 in a row, back to back, but they couldn't get that third, right? They couldn't get that third. They didn't even make the finals 3 years in a row. They just made it twice in a row, and that was it. So they couldn't get that third. So that's they need the third one. Like the Blackhawks pulled it off, in a sense. 2010, then 2013, even though it was a shortened season. And then 2015, they got within there as well. Really, the only thing that was the Los Angeles Kings that brought kind of kind of surprise everybody for 2 seasons, really. So that you need a third within the next 2 seasons, this season or next season. If you pull it off, then it's like fine, and maybe the season after that, especially if it's primarily the same core, mostly like Vasilevsky and Stamkos and freaking Kucherov and those guys.
I would consider.
But if a major piece falls off, if a major piece falls off, then it's like it's different after that.
Right.
Then I'll consider it kind of like the San Antonio Spurs, where it's like, okay, well, or the Detroit Red Wings, where it's guys that like some guys that were at the tail end of that were at the like they were rookies in the first year of like 98 when they won that first one, and then they were veterans by the end of it or something like that. I don't know, like or retiring by the end of the other one. Something like that. I'll consider you guys more like the Spurs, which isn't a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all, right? Like Tim Duncan,
being one of the best teams
Dynasty
in
is
half a decade is a good thing.
Yeah, Dynasty is more of a, because it's sports, like team sports. It's really hard to do that within a very short time frame of like 5 years, I would say. So that's kind of like, that's what the dynasties are. That's why you see like the Chicago Bulls or the New York Yankees or the Montreal Canadiens, or the New England Patriots, right? So there you go.
So correct. So correct me. I guess I'm misunderstanding a bit. You would or would not consider the Spurs to be a dynastic team?
They were in the early 2000s, but are you referencing the 2 out of 3 appearances, Francisco, when that led to the Heat's death?
Yeah, but even then they only won 1. That was like the one, and the last one that they won was like back in 2007. So it was like a 7-year difference. I can't really call that a dynasty. It's just
didn't they win?
They kind of hung around.
9?
What?
Hold on, let me look at.
No, the Spurs won in '99. They won in '99. That was the first one. They beat the Knicks. Then they won in 2003 when they beat the Nets, and then they won in 2005. They beat the Pistons, and then 2007.
They won 99, 2003, 2005, 2007.
Yes, 2007 was against the Cavs, and then 2014 was the big one at the end. Yeah, it was just very staggered.
So I was calling it a dynasty.
Maybe it is
because you were saying every other year instead of.
That's true.
Because the thing is, they didn't fall off either.
Yeah, okay, so that dynasty... All right, so then the Spurs dynasty would be like from 2003 to like 2007. They got 3 with like every other year.
Because then it's the argument of the San Francisco Giants in baseball.
Yeah, so the Spurs did have a dynasty, but the 2014 team wasn't part of that. They just had some guys that kind of hung around from it. Yeah.
Truthfully, they should have won the year prior. But nonsense happened when Kawhi Leonard missed some field goals.
Yeah, but and then of course the Warriors now. We're in the Warriors dynasty right now, so that's the NBA one. Yeah. All right, so yeah, the Lightning need one more within the next, let's say, 2 seasons. I'll even give them a third, just for whatever.
Okay. Well, let's hope that the Lightning can do it, because. I really want to be able to say we were a dynasty.
Yeah.
Trash.
All right. We're at 1:48. So, do we want to do another cage now? I think we got what we're doing. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, we go to the cage. So, because it's going to be very brief. Welcome, everybody. Your weekly Trueplex, The Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer, wrestling is not fake. It's scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a song and dance. Men and women trying to beat the holy hell out of each other, chasing legacies, establishing their legacies, chasing championships, just getting some good old blood feuds going on there. Wrestling is also sometimes about the highlights, the Hollywood, the entertainment, the stars, the brights, and building your biggest stages out there. It's been a bit. We haven't had a chance to talk a lot about things. Because when you think about it, I'm not giving you guys a lot of wrestling updates to really begin with, right? Considering the fact that, we've been off the air for a bit. Well, the last time we were talking, it was about my love for Sami Zayn and that pure perfect match, and that we were building against the betrayal, and then the match that led to the betrayal, and then just building into some stuff that I made promises about that I don't know if we can necessarily do, because it's kind of wrestling is a very flavor of the week. So to go for storylines and pay-per-views that have kind of ended hurt, I think. Why am I gonna you go on Peacock or you go on Bleacher Report for the AEW stuff and WWE stuff, but I'll go and give you this. What I'm gonna do is give you a state of the wrestling for Charles, leading into WrestleMania for WWE, and then also AEW and some New Japan.
Wait, when is WrestleMania?
For you gentlemen, probably take about 10 minutes of time. WrestleMania is April 1st and April 2nd, 2-night events.
Oh,
so
wow, we're almost there.
It's like 2.5 weeks from now. Yeah, so like that's why I want to kind of like I don't want to talk each show about the build-up. I really just get to the build-up the week before. But I gotta give you like a state of play, a state of wrestling in Charles's eyes. Can I curse, fellas? I'm fucking bored with wrestling. It is. Both all the three promotions I typically follow have kind of hit this stagnant play. So WWE, of course, had a little bit of that hard part where they had Elimination Chamber in February, and then their next pay-per-view was going to be WrestleMania April 1st, April 2nd. But then NXT itself has not been my cup of tea for a long time, which is rare because, I love the old black and gold. But ever since they relaunched NXT 2.0, there's some feuds I can get in with. NXT's ran by Shawn Michaels now. It's a little bit better because Vince is not behind the scenes, even though I fully think he's behind the scenes and everything else. That's a conspiracy theory I'll give you guys one day. It's still kind of dry. Like it's always on Tuesdays from 8 to 10 on USA Network. And instead of that, I'm doing a podcast and I'll just play WWE itself as I build my universe and I'll catch some of the highlights. But the pay-per-views have been fine, but I just can't jab into some of the performers, some of the storylines, some of the silliness. And I'm like, the build's not working for WWE because the matches are not there. Like there's 3 matches, 2 of them that have not been announced yet. That is really hitching my bricks for WrestleMania, man. Going to take me there on that wagon and hopefully I can build some momentum. Obviously, anything related to the Bloodline and the Usos and even to a degree Roman and Cody, because I haven't been really sold on the Roman Cody stuff. I'm not feeling it. I'm not jiving it. I think it's because you know how it ends, that kind of sensation. It's The Godfather. You know about the baptism scene and you know about Carlo getting pinched. It's freaking, it's The Sixth Sense. You know that Bruce is dead and he's the ghost, right? I'm just hoping I have that effect where even though I know the ending, which is Roman losing to Cody, I can enjoy it. So really it's going to be about the matches themselves and what everybody needs to understand. The important thing about programming and then scheduling and setting up stories and then feuds is to get me hyped up for a match that I know structurally might be good in the ring, but to have an investment on return of my time, my hours developed into watching these stories that have unfolded. And I think my concern with the Cody Roman match, except for me being a hater to Cody, right? Like I like Cody per se, but if you tell me who had to be the guy who beat Roman, it would still be Drew, even though I wasn't crazy about face Drew. But it's all these things, right, coming into play. But I'm just not feeling it, man. I'm not feeling it. You have at least created a good baby face for people to rally around that Sammy lost. And I'm not saying Sammy should have been the guy to dethrone Roman, even though you heard me last time saying, Hunter, you should have pulled the audible because hindsight's 20/20. But I have skipped said promos. I don't like them utilizing Dusty too much, who is Cody's father. I want them to be actually something more. The promo I sent you, Roman was clapping back. He was clapping back hard. Chef Roman was in town. He was cooking that ass. I like that. But what's Cody going to get angry about? If you're truly my father's favorite son, even if you're not biological? No, I need more than that. I want to be like, I got fired or I chose not to renew my contract to go explore and, sow some wild oats and see if I could be the best in other promotions and then come back here and give the middle finger to the establishment. That's the energy I want, right? Because what is Roman? The Samoan dynasty. Always the favorite children from the Inouye family. Whereas Cody, you could play the stories like, just like my dad, I was never told to be good enough. So I left to become better. I come back better than you. Oh, I can write that. It's soap opera, man. It's cinema. It's whatever. But I'm obviously invested in the Usos versus Sammy KO. When that comes back together, I'm going to cry. It is going to be like your Elizabeth and Macho Man moment at Mania. It's going to be fantastico. I'm kind of invested in Cena in theory. I don't think it needs to be for the U.S. belt, but, John was cooking that boy theory. But the idea is that you have to kind of create new stars. And if the fans are not about them now, are they not about them because they hate the character, because they hate that person's face? Because that's petty. That's petty, right? But if you know they can actually go in the ring, there's hope because some people don't develop to be the best wrestler in the main event card immediately. John Cena wasn't. He was the prototype John Cena, who got called up on a SmackDown against Kurt Angle, said ruthless aggression, and then it became the John Cena that we know and love until many years later. Same thing with Randy Orton. He was this guy who did like a knee neck breaker as a finisher. The RKO wasn't created, but if you can see the potential, work with it, go with it, develop it, let it happen. I'm kind of getting invested on Edge and Finn again because they announced on Raw this could be a Hell in a Cell match, and it's finally capping off a feud that's almost been going on for a year. It's just some things get delayed. I just wonder how Finn has to win. I mean, you got to create new stars. Finn's 40, 41. There's only so much stuff he can do as well. Edge is going to be retiring soon. But the other feud I'm invested that's going to carry me to the wheels of WrestleMania on that bus that I'm going to be wagoning in about 2 weeks. Because it's going to be a different tune. Next week, I'm like, WrestleMania! Rey Mysterio is Dominic Mysterio. It's just pure gold. This is a father and son who, the whole story is Rey won't hit his child. I don't know any Hispanic male who won't open up a can of whoop ass on their children when they've been disrespecting, getting arrested. I'm just saying. But Ray's a different kind of dad. And the stories of the stuff I've been sending you guys, I've loved it going on. So I'm invested. They haven't announced the match yet, but when Ray finally pops Dom in the mouth, oof, it's going to be good. And I kind of want to see it where he forgives his father at the end. I need that in my life, because I can see it now. Dominic beats Ray because Dominic should beat Ray. Ray should not beat Dom. He yields for his son. Judgment Day, which is the faction of Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, come out to try to beat down Ray some more. And then Dominic says, nah, this is wrong. Oh, it's good, man. It's the Anakin Skywalker of things. Padawan, never a Jedi Master, only on the council, but not Master name, right? Am I right here? We're getting a little nerdy here. And then, turns to the dark side, but finds that redemption and throws Palpatine all the way down the wall, but turns out Palpatine's still around and it doesn't matter. I hate you, Disney, so much. Sorry, Andrew, but I'm bringing that
Always
back.
Need one. There.
I'm bringing that back.
Always need one.
Yeah, that's my petty. That might be something we bring in for the annoyance pool. I'm not invested in the women's title matches, even though the talent is everywhere between Bianca and Asuka, and then Charlotte and Rhea. I am entertained thoroughly by Otis, who's Otis, in that Maximum Male Models faction that I sent you guys with his big old Bentley with his shades and the spiked gel hair. I love it. I love every bit of it. AEW State of the Game. Revolution was very good from what I heard. I have to watch some clips on the YouTube. Hangman Moxley was what was going to be driving me completely to it, and it ended well because essentially Hangman choked out Moxley with a noose, and that should be wild. MJF and Bryan went the full 60-minute Iron Man into overtime 65 minutes where MJF won. But my bothersome with AEW is these storylines don't end, man. Moxley and Hangman been going on it since October or November. They just had what you would consider to be the feud ender with Hangman winning a Texas Tornado match, and we're still continuing it. Why? This is stuff that happens routinely in AEW, and it's disappointing. And can you do something with the women's division? You have a big roster. You have all these hours of wrestling that's coming in. They're trying to get another one on Saturday. Put more out there so they get the exposure. Jade Cargill, who is money, in my opinion, didn't even defend her title at Revolution. You're putting in all these things. You have too many titles. The matches are good on Dynamite. I'm not going to complain, but I don't even. Here's the thing, guys. I don't really want to watch Raw. I don't want to watch NXT. I don't want to watch AEW. I'll catch some highlights of it, sure, but neither promotions have me invested. I'm not a person who's going to tribalism where I say, oh, pick this side, pick the other side. Having all the wrestling promotions out there now is good for people who want to work to be wrestlers. It's not even for the fandom. It's not even for the fandom because we're so two-faced and crooked, but it's good for people trying to find work that was told that they weren't good enough to go to the WWE, so they had to do indie for peanuts or maybe a couple pennies on the dollar, right? Sometimes they actually got good cash, but you can have that ability to charge more. But now that you have all this diversity, because Ring of Honor is back now. Ring of Honor is now owned by Tony Khan, who does the AEW stuff. So you're still getting some exposure. It just is not there yet for me to watch. They don't have a television deal. They have the Honor Club, so you get for $10 a week. But I'm I'm not there yet because you're not even ending feuds properly. Here's the thing, guys. If I could just read it on a screen, or if I could watch it on a Twitter highlight clip or put it on YouTube, what's the purpose of me seeing 3 hours? What's the purpose of me seeing 2 hours? And then when it comes to New Japan been stale for a while. The New Japan Cup's going on. Last year, you guys were hearing me hype about it. Same thing with G1 Climax, but you got to let Bullet Club go. Jay White left. I actually like Switchblade. He was one of those people that I didn't think had it at first, and then he has it. He's probably going to go to AEW. I don't think he's going to WWE. And then Dave Finley, who is the son of Fit Finley, is now leading the Bullet Club, and you have ELP, El Phantasma, who I love. Might be going face, but like, why is the Bullet Club still around? You've had different iterations of leaderships, and it's stale. It's very stale. They got break up some things. You still have Okada at the title, and I like Okada, but it's the same two guys really rotating it. You're not putting the faith in the young people. And right now, like it was bad when they were in lockdown, because you got to remember the difference between New Japan and then the American wrestling is that the American wrestling was able to have fans and audience. They were able to clap. They were able to do all these things. Over in Japan, it was very silent. Like, you couldn't even clap, you couldn't cheer, you couldn't say certain things. I think they could applaud, sure, but they couldn't like shout and cheer and everything. And part of wrestling is the emotion. Yeah. Well, like we talk about the Sammy Roman match. There's some people who say the crowd investment, that match made it 5 stars and beyond. But if you look at the technical ring skills, it was maybe a 4 at best. I consider things all relative, including the emotion of the crowd. But like, guys, I want to love wrestling. It is something for me to be invested in, and I don't think it's boring. Like, I don't want to ever watch it, but I'm not impressed yet. I feel like Shania Twain, you said, Charles, right now. It's a bad lull. It's almost like my gaming lull last year, which actually happened around this time period. So maybe every March to April I get into a lull. But if I had to quantify leading to all these pay-per-views, because pay-per-views are going to sell no matter what. I don't have to really get caught into the story, because a pay-per-view is always going to have what, boys? A recap of the thing that you've been doing for the last 3-4 weeks, right? But so I know the Masters are going to be fine, but I feel like this is a Shania Twain song. Like, that don't impress me much. So you got the look, but have you got the touch? Now, don't get me wrong. I think you're right, but that won't keep me watching every Tuesday night. I had to do it.
Yes.
You know what does keep me invested every Tuesday nights? Sports Goofs from your typical, if we don't have career life balance happening up from 7 to 9 after the Richard Nixon Sports Podcast, and then Factor 75 also.
Yeah, get 50% off your first box. You're not gonna get 50% off from WrestleMania.
That's all. Yeah, that's all I'll give you for the cage this week, boys.
Alrighty. All right, yeah. So what's more, guys? Yeah, go. Just click on the link, use our code, and you can do that, and get yourself some good meals. Also, I just found out. I just checked my email real quick because work, but apparently my Twitter handle for Marlins History is big enough that I'm now an affiliate for Fanatics. So that means I'm about to start shilling sports products, guys. So I'll be doing that, trying to make some coin in the meantime, so I can buy some more video games. That's what I'll be using that for. So yeah. So look for more of that from me, and go on our Twitter page at sports_goofs, and you can because somebody else took Sports Goofs way before us, and they didn't even use anything with it. It's a disappointment. But and you can get some money off of your first purchase from Factor 75. And that's it. That's it for episode 164. It's actually the shortest one we've done this season. We got 2 hours and 2 minutes. So thank you all, and see ya. See you next week, hopefully, unless it's bi-weekly the way things are going. But yeah, bye.
Peace.
Take care.